Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for making it out. First off, I just want to say Happy Mother's Day to everyone out here. My name is Daniel Zhang. I'm a medical student here with the Center of Music and Medicine and one of the founders of the Hopkins Medical Orchestra. And I'm really honored to welcome you all here today. In the short 2 years that we've been around, we've started to see the intersection of music and medicine build community across Hopkins. We've always thought that music could tell stories and connect with people in new ways. Since then, we've had musicians from our own orchestra find new ways to bring music to the bedside of units, after-school programs in East Baltimore, perform at hospital lobbies, on rounds, during wards, and during important ceremonies. But tonight, we are really honored to take this a step forward and use music to do good. And we are honored to host this year's Social Justice Concert Series, using music to bring the East Baltimore community together, supporting grassroots efforts that have been dedicated to education, advocacy, and service. Before I start, I just want to acknowledge all the people that helped make these concerts in our organization possible. The Johns Hopkins Alumni Association, the School of Medicine, the Graduate Student Association, and the Center of Music and Medicine, led by Dr. Penteliot, whose generous contribution has sustained this series for many years. In addition, we'd like to thank the 150 Awards Committee, who has allowed the Hopkins Medical Orchestra to pledge $1,250 to tonight's honored guests. Finally, I would like to introduce our speaker for today. Just a little bit of backstory. After surveying the musicians of HMO, medical students at the School of Medicine, this organization was nominated for their involvement with multiple source groups at Hopkins to support a very important marginalized population in Baltimore. Ms. Beth Watkins is the Deputy Director at Asylee Women Enterprise. She spent her early career living in North and East Africa, where she spent 6 years working with displaced youth and refugees in Sudan, South Sudan, and Egypt. Since relocating to Baltimore in 2018, Beth has worked at the International Rescue Committee and Casa de Maryland, and has now been at Asylee Women Enterprise for over 5 years. She speaks Sudanese, Arabic, and has also received a master's in refugee protection and forced migration studies from the University of London. So please welcome to the stage, Mrs. Beth Watkins.
Thank you so much, and thank you for having me here. And I didn't know about the donation. That's amazing. Thank you so much. So I work at Asylee Women Enterprise, or AWE. We work with asylum seekers and trafficking survivors, immigrant trafficking survivors in Baltimore, as they navigate the immigration legal process, heal from past trauma, and rebuild their lives in Maryland. So we support immigrants of all ages and all genders who are seeking safety in the U.S. Asylum seekers are individuals fleeing persecution in their home countries, and all the asylum seekers we enroll in our services are survivors of torture. We also serve survivors of trafficking, so people who have been labored or sex trafficked into or in the U.S. Most of the clients we serve in this program are minors. And we support our clients with a holistic or wraparound services. So we have case management services. Most clients are assigned with a case manager with us for at least a year, as well as transitional housing. We have a few housing partnerships, and we own a home where single women or single mothers can be there with their children, have housing until they're able to have work authorization, their work permits. Community connection is a really big part of our services. As clients come to our office for community meals, for English classes, group therapy. It's really a place where they get to be defined by more than just their immigration status. As well as immigration legal services. So we have attorneys on staff helping clients apply for asylum, for trafficking visas, for their work permits, and more. Material support, we have a food pantry, clothing closet, bus passes. Youth services, we have an evening program for youth, primarily trafficking survivor youth, again, for this community connection where they can be with people who have similar lived experience. Health and wellness, so we partner with HEAL, Asylee, and Refugee Collaborative for medical care for our clients who are uninsured and uninsurable. And then we also work with the Intercultural Counseling Connection, who provide individual and group therapy services. And we do a lot with food security and benefits. We have a community garden. So many of our clients live in East Baltimore and call it home. Our volunteers deliver food to clients who live here. We have a mural in progress not too far from here being led by our Youth Trafficking Survivor Advisory Board. Our case manager work with clients to get library cards, enroll their kids in school, and help them find a place to live here. This is also where, along with nearly every corner of the country, some of our clients have been taken away from their families, their homes, and their right to due process by ICE agents. Our work has changed a lot in the last year and a half. We're seeing attacks on immigrants, their supports, and the dismantling of pathways to permanent status and safety in the United States. This means our clients are facing increased delays getting work permits, getting their cases closed before they're able to have their day in court, and people who are permitted into the country to seek asylum, who came here seeking safety, are being detained, ankle monitored, and deported back to danger. Our clients are scared and their vulnerabilities are increasing. We rely on donations to provide food for our clients who are not eligible for public benefits and are waiting for their work permits. We rely on donations to pay for clients' legal fees when they have an asylum hearing moved from 2027 to just a few weeks away. We rely on donations to pay the rent of a family whose breadwinner has been detained by ICE, to pay for the new $765 annual fee to renew their work permit when this used to be free. These donations help us pay for transportation for clients to critical medical appointments when they're afraid to leave their homes or take the bus. They help cover time for our staff to assist parents in making temporary guardianship arrangements for who gets to take their kids if they are taken by ICE. On top of all of this, we're being forced to leave the building we've been in for the last 8 years. This is the place where our clients learn English, where they taught cooking classes, where they planted seeds from their home countries in our community garden, where they've shared food, held each other's babies, where they laughed and cried and everything in between. It's where they've made friends. It's where they found community. It's where they are not defined solely by their immigration status. It's the place that so many of our clients have told us is the only place they feel safe anymore. Donations will help us move to another location that is safe and where we can continue to build this community that means so much to so many at a time when community is what we all need now more than ever. I want to end this story with about one of our clients, and on this Mother's Day, it's about one of the strongest mothers I've ever worked with. She's a single mother of 4 children, and she came to this country fleeing abuse from one of the most severe domestic violence cases we've ever worked with. The abuse began when she was a child, and her 4 children are all from her abuser. 2 of her children are disabled because this man also abused his children. At various points, she was kidnapped, locked in a room for months at a time, and sexually assaulted not only by her abuser, but also by police when she finally was able to escape to a police station to seek help. She was hospitalized multiple times and forced to do many horrible things. Early last year, her court hearing was moved up by years. She only had weeks to prepare, gather her evidence, and get everything translated. It was extremely stressful and scary, but ultimately, her and her children were all granted permanent status. As she walked out of the courtroom that day upon hearing the judge's decision, the first thing she said was, "He believed me." She was amazed that someone in power finally believed her about what she had endured. That judge has since been fired by the Trump administration and replaced with guest judges with no experience at all in immigration law. Our other clients, many of them mothers, are being robbed of their chance to be believed in a court of law. Please don't look away from what's happening right up to our neighbors right outside these doors. I'm here today to please ask you to stand with AWE, to stand with your immigrant neighbors. Thank you.
Again, thank you so much for joining us today. We're so happy to support you in whatever way we can, and clearly your help has ripples through the Johns Hopkins Hospital, through the patients we see, through the clinics that the students train in, and the people we see every day in Baltimore. So one more time, guys, for Ms. Bethany. All right, to continue this night, we have a very exciting musical program. First up, we have the Brahms Clarinet Quintet in B minor. Written in 1891, it was technically written after Brahms was retired from composing. His first movement, which is performed here today, has a late style of his works and a certain autumn quality, characterized by melodic cross-pollination between the strings and the clarinet, which sets the tone for the rest of the quintet. One phrase in the middle, played by the clarinet, is actually very close to Carl Maria von Weber's Clarinet Concerto No. 1 in F minor. We thought that Brahms listens to Richard Mohlfield at one of his recitals, and this was playing and inspired his work to continue composing. The work is performed here today by none other than Anne-Marie Nolan, concert mistress of the Hopkins Medical Orchestra, Stephen Guan, Dan Du, Chris Kwan, principal section leaders of HMO, and Eli Gilbert, music director of HMO from Peabody here today. Please welcome them to the stage. Okay, next up, we have the Tchaikovsky Nocturne for Cello and Orchestra, number 4. So originally the fourth movement of his 6 pieces for piano, Tchaikovsky transcribed this nocturne for cello and small orchestra in 1888. It showcases the singing quality of the cello, emphasizing its upper tenor register. This piece is performed by Jinqian Zhang, who is a cellist with HMO, and is actually fair to say she was the first cellist HMO ever had since we started. She is joined by Ying Wang, who is a Hopkins alumni returning to join us for another chamber orchestra. So please welcome to the stage. Next, we have Debussy's Clair de Lune. This is the third movement of the Suite Bergamasque. This piece is archetypal of musical impressionism. It was inspired by a poem by Paul Verlaine. Translated in English, a few of the lines read, "Their song mingles with the moonlight, with the still moonlight, sad and beautiful, that sets the birds dreaming in the trees and fountains sobbing in ecstasy." Debussy's work highlights the piano's beautiful sense of weightlessness with a light, fluid rhythm. This is performed again by Stephen Guan on piano. one more set change. I didn't prepare any good jokes, sorry guys. Our last piece is Ravel's La Mère Loire, or the Mother Goose Suite. It was originally composed as a piano duet for the Tchaikovsky children. These movements illustrate French and English nursery rhymes. The first movement is the Pavane of the Sleeping Beauty, and captures the picture of a princess in her 100-year sleep. The second movement we'll be performing is Little Tom Thumb. The music follows the story of Tom Thumb going through the woods, leaving behind a trail of breadcrumbs to remember his way back, only to be eaten one by calling birds, leaving him lost. The third movement is Conversations of Beauty and the Beast. It features a waltzing melody of the beauty interrupted by the low, gruff grumbles of the beast. The music captures their journey until a sudden, magical shimmering transforms the beast into a prince. And the last movement we'll be performing is The Fairy Garden. This is Sleeping Beauty as she awakens the entire fairy tale kingdom as it comes to life, and the spell is completely vanquished. Performing tonight will be Christine Lopez. She is our honored guest pianist with the orchestra and has performed with our concerts. Donna Kirschbaum of the cello, myself on violin. And today we have a special guest musician outside of Hopkins, and we want to thank her for her time joining us. It's Lisa Troy. Lisa has studied at Juilliard and was a winner of the Francis Waltzing Competition in 2025. A longtime local Marylander and high school friend as well. So please welcome to the stage. Instruments are nicer to put together than others. There we go. Yeah. Thank you guys so much for joining us this afternoon. Truly is an honor to share a lot of music we don't get to share otherwise, and highlight some of our beautiful musicians. And of course, highlight our distinguished guest today from AWE, Ms. Beth Watkins. This concert is recorded and live streamed, so for the people that couldn't join us today back home, thank you so much for your support. The link to donate and read more about what your contribution to AWE can be found in the description below. And for all those here, it is recorded, so memories for years to come. Thank you so much. Happy Mother's Day.